and welcome to Inner Circle Guidance. Today we're going to be doing a collective reading, but for those of you who are new to my channel, hello and welcome. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button. I post new videos every single day, and if you're looking for daily short tarot readings, I post every day on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube Shorts, and Facebook. If you're looking for personal services or personal readings, I offer them through my website, innercircleguidance.com. Let's find out what you need to know today. All right, we have the Page of Cups, we have the Ten of Swords, we have the High Priestess, we have Judgment, and we have the Knight of Swords. Interesting. And we have the Five of Swords at the bottom of the deck here. Okay, so this is what I'm getting here. With the Page of Cups, some sort of communication or information came to you out of sheer luck. And it gave you kind of the insight to an ending that either... And that she's eating food. Yes, I'm talking about you. He's looking at me like, what? It's breakfast. Okay, so the Ten of Swords here, it has to do with endings. And I'm hearing that you got some sort of information sort of out of happenstance or out of luck, or you happen to be paying attention enough to the situation and to your intuition and to the subtle energies that were surrounding you, that you were able to gain insight on an ending that either is coming up shortly here in your life, I'd say in the next several weeks, or an ending that's already happened for you and you're already further along in your journey, since this is a collective reading. And it required you to have to make some sort of judgment. It required you to make some sort of decision here on whether or not you were going to listen to your intuition and what it was telling you and move on maybe before you felt ready, because I'm getting the Five of Swords here, or moving on at all even. Sometimes it can be really difficult to go through changes, especially when they're changes we weren't expecting. But I'm seeing here that you're going to be getting information here soon that your decision is the right one. If you haven't already, you're going to be receiving confirmation very quickly, which could actually be literally through this reading. So let's get a couple more cards here about the situation and what you can expect. Wheel of Fortune. We're getting a lot of the same cards this week. We're getting the Six of Cups, Knight of Cups, King of Pentacles, and we have the Nine of Pentacles here. Sorry you're hearing Thatcher munching and crunching back there. All right. So I'm just receiving a very important message about this entire situation. You asked to achieve everything that you want. You asked to achieve greatness. And part of this entire situation that's happening here is teaching you that when you ask for greatness and you ask to elevate and you ask to live a life that is outside the norm and fantastic and wonderful, it also requires you to level up spiritually, mentally, emotionally, physically sometimes, in a way that is going to bring you to the next level. And sometimes that means overcoming some of the most difficult challenges, not only about life, but about yourself, and overcoming your main obstacles. And so with this whole situation that has happened, I'm hearing that in the past you were very resistant to changes, especially when they came when you weren't expecting them. You would have rather stayed in situations way past their expiration date, stayed around people way past their expiration date, because you were so clinging on to how you wanted things to be, clinging on to whatever positive things that you were afraid of losing that came from those situations, or clinging on to the worry that things weren't going to get better. But what you're starting to learn here is that when changes are presented to you by the universe and you listen to them and you listen to your intuition and you look and see the opportunities available, opportunities start meeting preparation. And you end up realizing that you start becoming more in sync with the subtle energies of the universe that are trying to help you. And you end up being able to be very successful a lot more quickly and with a lot less resistance. And what's interesting about that as well, I just lost my train of thought. No, it was a good one. It'll come back to me. There was like a bird that made like a weird noise outside, and I was trying to figure out if it was a hawk in my head while I was talking to you, and then it made me distracted. But it might have been a hawk, and the reason why that would have been important is actually because this card here, and what's actually interesting is she has a bird on her hand, but this card is all about independence, and hawks are all about independence. Hawks are very, like, they have their own little kingdom, their own little territory that they rule, and they kind of rely heavily on themselves, not on a group or on another hawk. And so that's where my brain was going with that, because there is a hawk that hangs around my house, and usually when he or she presents themselves, it's a message. So I was trying to make sure I wasn't losing another message for you. Meanwhile, I ended up losing the one I was trying to tell you. But essentially, I know what I was going to tell you. So I think it was RuPaul actually that had said this, but it was one of the first times I had heard somebody say, this was years ago, somebody say it like this: the universe gives you stage directions if you're open to hearing them. But the thing is like, sometimes we look for signs and we have so many other things going on that we either misinterpret the signs or the communication that is being sent to us because we're not in tune with our intuition. So it's important to not only listen to these subtle energies, but to also be open to them and open-minded, because you may be open for guidance and be willing to receive signs, but if you're only willing to receive the signs that tell you what you want to hear and tell you you're on the right path, or give you confirmation of those things, but you aren't listening to all of the signs as a whole, you're only getting part of the message. And so since the universe speaks in energies, you have to interpret how that communication is coming through. It's almost like learning a completely different language. And that's going to be, honestly, very specific to you, because there's going to be specific things that are going to have specific meanings only to you. For example, For me, I've learned that hummingbirds, whenever I see them, it means that money is coming from unexpected places. And that is something that actually became a sign to me through synchronicities that I experienced while I was living in Los Angeles. And now it's funny because there's not really as many hummingbirds here, but I'll still receive hummingbirds through like logos of companies or through Instagram or through other ways. So you have to kind of learn the language of your spirit guides and learn the language of how spirit is communicating with you. And eventually I'm going to be going into more techniques on how to do that and teaching you all how to manifest and how to understand the subtle energies of the universe. But it starts with being open-minded to that energy coming in and being connected to your intuition. So let's get into this here. So the second row. Because you've learned this lesson finally, and I say finally because the Wheel of Fortune is here, which indicates that your fortune is finally shifting, but not only is it that, it's also that this may have been a cycle that you had kind of gone through several times, and this time it's like you finally surpassed this level of the game. And so new energies are coming in, new offers are going to be coming in. I'm seeing that it's going to be a lot with your relationships. Could be with earth signs, doesn't have to be, but could be with earth signs here. And you're really learning where to give your energy and where not to give your energy. And that's very important here because it is keeping you from getting distracted on your journey of where you're trying to go. And it's allowing you to put your energy more strongly into what you're trying to achieve. And that's important because if you look at a lot of the fantasy movies when it comes to magic, if that person uses the magic too much, the magic runs out, right? So you've learned how to not only cultivate your magic, but how to make it be the strongest and last the longest when you're trying to manifest things. You are learning how to do that, and that's important. And that largely has to do with understanding when and where to give your energy and when and where to not give your energy. And so you're going to be moving forward towards a different energy that's leaving this situation. And it's going to bring you to a very different kind of place. I'm seeing that for those of you who are very career focused, you're going to be in a new position where you're going to be highly recognized for your work. You're going to be highly respected, highly, what's the word I'm looking for? Like you're going to be working with people and being surrounded by people who value what you bring to the table. And you're going to be seen as a mentor. You're going to be seen as somebody very high level, very like a leader. And that's largely because you've stepped into this independent energy where you're taking control of your life, you're taking responsibility for your actions, and you're taking action towards the life that you want to receive. And honestly, this can be exhausting and daunting at times because sometimes, like I said, the changes that are coming are happening before you're really prepared or ready for them, or before you really want them to happen in terms of like you've gotten comfortable. And so you have to learn how to be comfortable with being uncomfortable. And that's something I've said my entire career when people ask me, how are you successful in all these various things that you do? It's because I am very comfortable with being uncomfortable. And for people who grew up and have a childhood that was unstable or a childhood that was traumatic, there's benefits and there's hindrances to that because it teaches you how to be uncomfortable, but you also have to overcome the very heavy desire to just sit in comfortability and not grow. And so oftentimes that's what we're really overcoming here, is the feeling of being uncomfortable. And even if you didn't come from a traumatic childhood, that's just human nature to want comfortability and like wanting things to be kind of like somewhat habitual and sort of in a groove, because it causes less stress and less worry. But if you learn to adapt to the change and go with the flow of it, instead of resisting it, you become like water. And water shapes around the rocks as it goes through the river, right? Instead of hitting the rock and getting stuck. And so that is kind of the lesson here. And you're stepping into that energy. So congratulations, that's a major, major breakthrough. So for those of you who that's been your breakthrough this week, because we've been talking a lot about breakthroughs, that is an amazingly huge spiritual awakening. So congratulations, because that is like the first major, major step to realizing that you are the manifestor of your life and how to harness your magic. So let's just get some final guidance here. Some quick final guidance. All right. All right, we have the Four of Swords. We have the Ten of Cups. We have the Emperor. We have the Ace of Swords. And we have the Eight of Pentacles. Okay. So this card is usually, this Four of Swords, is usually a card of rest and relaxation and reflection. But this is not the time for rest. And the reason I say that is because I'm seeing here with this Wheel of Fortune, this is the time that you need to get prepared. And that's what this card is about. Because with the Wheel of Fortune, these opportunities are going to be coming in and you need to be prepared for them. So this is a time of getting your ducks in a row. So see how we have these 3 swords in a row? Get your ducks in a row. So for those of you who are looking for a new job, you need to update all your resumes. You need to get all your stuff together, your portfolios, your writing samples, whatever that is for you, need to be all gotten together. You need to be preparing for what's coming here. For those of you where it's less career focused and more other things, you need to be getting those things in order. So whatever your goal is, be really focused on preparing for what your next step forward is. And if you're not 100% sure, ask, because the universe is going to be sending you some clarity here very soon regarding exactly where you need to be putting your energy and what steps you need to do moving forward. But for now, prepare. So for example, if you are looking for a new job, for example, you need to get all your resume and stuff and things together, but maybe you're not really sure if you should continue in your current career, go to a different career, open a business and totally go in a completely different direction. You're going to be getting clarity here soon on that, but you need to prepare for everything. So have everything that you may possibly need prepared for when the opportunity comes, because I'm hearing here that you're going to be very heavily supported by family right now. Your family is going to be open to giving you advice, to helping you where they can, to supporting you, maybe even helping you prepare for this next level of your life. And not only are you going to be stepping into your throne here, but you're going to have somebody, some sort of mentor or someone in your family, could be an Aries, doesn't have to be, who's going to really be stepping into a huge mentoring what's the word? Mentoring, not stage, position to help guide you towards where you need to go. For some of you, I'm actually hearing you maybe going back to school. That may be something, and somebody may be coming in to offer you help with that, or you may be coming to this realization and looking for help, such as financial aid or scholarships or whatever. And so I'm hearing for some of you, that's what it has to do with. But you're being asked to prepare whatever it is that your goals that you're trying to achieve. Prepare right now. Make sure you're not overextending yourself though, because when you overextend yourself, you're not giving yourself the energy and the rest and things that you need, and you start attracting energies that are not going to give you the things that you fully need either. So make sure that you are not overextending yourself, but this is not a time to get lazy, okay? This is not a time to lose focus, and it's not a time to just like rest and be like, I'll deal with it next week. That's not the energy here. And so when, excuse me, sorry, my throat is dry and my tea is like not over here. When all this fully comes together for you, which it's going to be coming together, I would say in the next couple weeks to a month, month and a half, I think is pushing it for a lot of you. This seems to be coming in very, very quickly. We have the Wheel of Fortune, we have Knight of Swords, we have the Ace of Swords. These are more fast-paced kind of energies. So the information, the communication from Spirit's going to be coming in quickly, but I do need to note here that your success is going to be more of a marathon and not a sprint, because one, we have a snail here in this corner here, but also because the King of Pentacles is a long-term energy. We're looking at sustainable, what's the word I'm looking for? Stability. That requires time, that requires putting all your ducks in a row, that requires planning. And so I'm not going to say like everything's going to move really slow for you, because that's not the case. You're going to get a lot of opportunities here. But your 10 of Pentacles, you're still at the 9 and you still have a little ways to go before you're going to reach your 10. So be patient in that, because there is going to be a bit of time here. Things are going to be moving, but it's going to be steady. It's not going to be like, boom, all this stuff happens and then suddenly it just goes pew. Like this is sustainable, steady growth, okay? And so when you put in the work, remember that what you put your work into and your energy into is what you're going to get out of it. So be very intentional at this time, because with the Wheel of Fortune, you're going to be having a lot of luck and a lot of opportunity coming in, but that also means that you need to have the self-awareness to discern where your energy needs to go. So I'm going to leave it at that, because I feel like that was a lot of energy that I just threw at you and a lot of information. So you may want to watch this video a couple times. You may want to journal on this, meditate on this reading, and really take the time to be a sponge and sort of like soak it in, because I just threw a lot of stuff at you. But this is kind of like a culmination of everything I've been talking about for the last like week and a half. And so I feel like this all came through with all those energies much clearer, because I feel like a lot of the confusing energies that you guys were in has shifted because you're starting to gain clarity, or you've already gained clarity through your intuition. And so the energies are more clear to me as well, and I'm able to tell you, okay, this is where it's at. So hopefully this reading was helpful, and if it was, please tell me in the comments below. For your affirmation for this reading, I really think you should put slow and steady wins the race, because that really is what it's about, is being steady and steady growth, not rushing and doing things unsustainably. So, and maybe actually even the affirmation should be that I am continuing my sustainable growth. Maybe that's a better way of putting that, because I know some people get hesitant about the word slow, which depends on what you consider to be slow. Yeah, so Anyways, if you haven't subscribed to my channel, don't forget to subscribe. And as always, may your life be full of light, full of love, abundance, and gratitude. I'll see you next time.